We'll see.
You're live now.
Okay, amazing. All right. Well, hi everyone. Welcome to this event. Or this discussion. This is a discussion held by Nerdy Joy. It is about overcoming commitment issues. So, what are commitment issues? Well, they are basically, or a general overview of it is, for example, if you cannot commit to something, or if you can't start or finish projects, whatnot. So those are commitment issues. Um, Actually, let's wait a bit more since no one else has really joined, and the only person that joined left. Yeah, we just have like three people, so it's better if we wait since you made the announcement, right, Harshala?
No, I think you can continue. Like you're already live.
All right, great.
Share
Then
the
let
screen.
Okay, yeah. Let me just start sharing my screen. Let's see. All right, share full screen. Let me know when you can actually see my screen. You should be able to see in a moment. Oh, this
Yeah, I
is
can see your screen.
all right. It's kind of
Yeah, you have to hop into the other tab.
yeah. All right. So, anyway, let's get into this. So, again, commitment issues are basically when you can't really start a project or finish it, or when you can't go through the relationship. So that's a general overview of what commitment issues are. And so and a lot of people that grew up that had their parents may make them feel guilty about making mistakes, and people that had generally parents that guilt tripped them, that made them feel that they were not enough, that destroyed their confidence. Those kind of people are the ones that generally grow up to have those kind of commitment issues where they can't really go through with a project or with relationships, or they can't handle those kind of things, or they're very insecure in many cases. So in this post of Nerdy Joy, we actually talk about a fictional character called Amanda that growing up had parents that made her feel guilty for making mistakes, and so she grew up believing it was not okay to make mistakes, and you should not be comfortable with being flawed. And unfortunately, that gave her commitment issues, and which basically made her change jobs every 6 months, constantly end relationships, and avoided anything that would give her a sense of responsibility. So that's actually another side effect. It deprives you of the feeling of responsibility, or you always want to avoid responsibility. Um, so again, this is a fictional character called Amanda, but anyone that is grown up in that kind of household has that kind of mindset when they grow up. Again, anyone can be in the same situation. So if you were constantly criticized by your parents or were raised to not make mistakes, you will try to avoid being criticized or making mistakes all your life and having responsibility. And so, again, like if your parents punished you for trying to excel and stand out, you may also fear success, which is quite interesting because, yeah, we know of people that avoid or are afraid of failure, but some might actually also be afraid of success, and that's why they keep changing these things, right? They avoid responsibility. So yeah, people with commitment issues generally believe if they do not try too, if they do not try too hard in life, they cannot fail, be criticized, or even succeed. So that depends on how they were raised and what their insecurity is. And that is why they can never start or finish anything. If they remain at a job or in a relationship, their flaws might become too apparent to others. So yeah, like better to slip away at the right moment to maintain the illusion of their possible greatness. So yeah, again, that's generally how people with commitment issues are. Does anyone have any questions or concerns so far?
So what is it that you are taking up? Like you have lessons mentioned and all. Can you share the link?
I can't exactly hear you. Could you please repeat?
I was saying, like, can you share the link, like, to read and like, are we taking lessons one by one?
Well, this is actually just one lesson from the laws of human nature, about like
Okay.
solving these kind of issues. So I'll send the link in the chat, and anyone here can take a look at it. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. Right.
So, like, are these lessons with respect to relationships or like with respect to career?
hmm Yeah, they could actually classify in both categories because these issues generally concern both. Like, if you want to avoid responsibility or succeeding or failing, you might jump from relationship to relationship or even just avoid them in generally. And then also with careers, you might change one in every 6 months or make those kind of decisions. So it's really about like, you know, it's just really about who you are and what the issue is, or where the issue is, or, where it comes out. But yeah, generally that's like
Like, I'm a generalist, so like I read that book called Range, and uh, I forgot the author's name. Sorry about that, but you can check it out online. And it talks about person who's generalist. Like we are constantly labeled as people who cannot focus or who keeps jumping from one thing to another, and that we have commitment issues and all, but that's kind of not the case. With us, like we have varied interest and all. So, like, does this have any role to play in that, or
I'm sorry, your sound quality wasn't very good, so I had trouble understanding some
is it
parts.
okay now? Is it okay now?
Right now it's kind of, I guess.
Okay, so I was asking that I had read this book called Range, by an author called David, if I'm not wrong. I forgot the name of the author. There he mentioned about basically people who are generalist are considered to be unfocused, or they are considered to be like to have commitment issues. They don't do one thing and like stick to it or gain any sort of specialization on it and all. So, like, do you think that this and commitment like relate in any way? Like, I was just trying to find out if there's a connection between them since I read that book.
I mean, I'm not like a psychology professor or not very experienced in the medical field, so I can't really comment on that because that's out of my area of knowledge, I'd say. So I think that's better if you ask if to someone who's actually experienced in that area. If like according to what I've read here, possibly, but then again, like that's a whole different topic that it's very sensitive, So I can't yeah, like it's better for me to not really comment on that and let the actual medical professionals judge that. This is just a lesson about people that really can't finish or start projects or keep avoiding responsibility, and one simple solution that could help them overcome that. Again, I don't know because also the laws of human nature doesn't mention that aspect of things, so yeah, I'm really not sure.
Yeah, is this by Robert Greene?
Yes, correct, that is by Robert Greene.
Mm. I read his book, The 48 Laws of Power. That one I read. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an amazing book as well. Yeah, I really do love that.
I felt he has copied a lot from The Art of War by Sun Tzu. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Um, I just felt he copied a lot of those sentences from it. But he did mention that, he has read a lot of book and he's taken lessons from there. So
Yeah,
that's why
well,
I don't complain.
yeah, I mean, like The Art of War is an amazing book about just generally being a leader. So I think a book like The 48 Laws of Power would have to actually look at a book like that and take lessons from it because it's a great source. Honestly, I'm not sure about really copying, but there are probably intersections between the two. But then again, the 48 Laws of Power is a bit more elaborate on those things. Like I read the Art of War as well. It was not very elaborate. It's not it doesn't really elaborate on things. So I'd say 48 Laws of Power in that aspect is probably better. Or the translation I read might have not been so elaborate. So I don't know if it's the translation's fault or if the original version is not if it doesn't elaborate on the things mentioned. But yeah, I don't know about that.
It's a translated book?
Well, it was actually written in Chinese or Mandarin, I believe. Yeah, I'm not sure which
Oh, okay.
language exactly, but yeah, Sun Tzu is like a Chinese warrior, so it was his it was written in his language, and then they translated it into English. So a lot of books we read of the Art of War are translated by different people, so some are more elaborate than others. I personally got mine from a bookstore in Korea, so I don't really know if it's the best translated one, but yeah,
Okay, okay. I just read whatever is available, I think, in the commercial aspect, like the English one. Uh,
yeah, yeah. I mean, yes, there are like different translators might have different styles. So then again, I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway, so getting back to the lesson here. I'm sorry, I keep getting a call. Anyway, yeah. So in this fictional case, Amanda had those problems, had those commitment issues, and so what she did is and in Amanda's case, a strategy she found was to take on a project, small or big, to force herself to complete it. She tried to embrace failing and making mistakes as much as possible. Even if she made mistakes, she would not be hurt as much as she thought because it was expected. So again, basically, just taking over a small project and I'll elaborate on that in a bit more. But yeah, so she tried to embrace failing and making mistakes, which raised her tolerance for mistakes. And then after completing the project and after persevering, her self-esteem increased, and her tolerance for making mistakes increased. Again, Amanda is a fictional character, but is the depiction of the millions of people that actually do have those issues. Um, so yeah, and then another note is about the people with this kind of attitude in life. Um, it's best if you avoid partnerships with these kind of people, as mentioned above. They do not have a sense of responsibility, and thus they will, slip away at the wrong moments. They'll get you to do all the hard work, and they'll blame you if you fail. So it's better to avoid these people at all costs because they will probably ruin your work unless you want to help fix them. But even then, they might resist change. So yeah, it's in your best interest to um, really avoid them in your professional or personal life. And then and then the lesson is here. The complete lesson. So let's say you want to be a musician, maybe try to just make one song first, and then and make sure to tell yourself making mistakes is fine, just so you can anticipate making that mistakes are to come, and that you won't be hurt as much as you thought. And again, if you embrace making mistakes and failing, they won't hurt as much. It is important. It is also important that you push yourself to finish the project. So really, just persevere and avoid the tendency to do it later or procrastinate. Start now and try your best. Yeah, once you're done, your self-esteem will rise, and you'll be able to tolerate mistakes much more. Yeah, that is it. Hope you enjoyed. Any questions or concerns?
I just have one question. What was the book? It
The,
was
the laws of human nature.
no. I'm talking about the book that Ashala said.
The art of war.
No, the other one. The one
48
that
Laws of Power. Yeah, 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. It was
what was
another
it?
book.
No,
I'll just put it in the chat.
you talked about the book. I think it was called Witch.
Rich. Oh wait, do you mean Spark? I think about the genderless people. Was it that?
No,
Was it?
I spoke about 48 Laws of Power.
And Rich. You started by a book called Rich.
Reach. Yeah, Reach. I think it was called Reach.
Range. Yeah, range.
Range.
Yeah.
Uh, how does it spell? Range. Oh, range.
Yeah, I've just put it RANGE. I'll share a link also. Wait a minute.
Is it from the spine? Spine.
Yeah, it's a great book. It's about generalist, and it justifies why generalists are better than no, not better, but why generalists thrive in a specialized world. Like everybody talks about becoming a specialist in this or that and all, but he talks about that there are two types of people: generalist and a person who likes to specialize in something. But the world really focuses a lot on people who they keep asking you to specialize, but the whole education system is surrounded around that, like bachelor's and master's and PhD. And but the actual people who create companies and all, they are very generalist in nature, and people who are generalist are able to survive recessions and all better because they always have some or the other better secondary source of income and all. So something like that. It's around that.
Okay. I'm interested in knowing more about this book. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I've put it in in chat. It's an Amazon link, but I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds very interesting, and I think I've seen it before in the bookstore here in Korea. I should probably check it out. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming to this event. Yeah, it was great. I think. Yeah.
I'll
Thank
share
you.
one more link. Um, I had shared about my thoughts on this book. I've put it in the chat.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, maybe you guys can have a look. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Harshala. And Jose, can you stay for a moment? I need to tell you something. All right. Um. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. I'll take a leave.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Bye. Have a wonderful day, Harshala.
Like I'll stop the live stream just a minute.
Okay. All right.
Should I stop it?
You can stop it. You can stop it.